Can I have your attention, please? We'll be starting up shortly. Good evening, and welcome to the Lowell Planning Board for April 24th, 2025. The first matter on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from April 7th, 2025. Any of the board members have any comments or corrections?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as submitted.
Motion made and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right. Chair votes yes, and the matters are approved. Okay, moving along, we have a special permit and a site plan review for 133 Clark Road. The Lowell Planning Board will hold a public hearing to hear all interested persons relative to an application by Jeremy and Darlene McSorley to subdivide the existing lot and construct a new single-family home at the above address. The subject property is located in the suburban single-family zoning district. The proposal requires amended special permit approval from the planning board per section 5.29 to reduce the required frontage from large lots in the SSF zone. A special permit approval per section 6.7 to exceed the maximum driveway length, and a site plan approval per section 11.4 for a parking area with greater than 4,000 square feet of impervious surface. May we hear from the applicant first? Before we get started, member Caleb is not with us this evening, so our alternate will be Mr. Telsar. So Mr. Telsar will be voting in Mr. Caleb's spot. Okay, make me hear from the applicant.
Good evening. Attorney Catherine Flood here on behalf of Jeremy and Darlene McSorley pertaining to property located at 133 Clark Road regarding an application for a modification of a special permit previously issued by the Planning Board pursuant to 6.7.2 to modify the location of the driveway, and a modification of special permit issued pursuant to 5.2.9 for large lots with reduced frontage. The project is located in the SSF zoning district. The property was previously before this board. It was approved for a 5-lot subdivision. It went back before this board, and it was modified to create 2 lots. One lot consisting of 51,393 square feet, having 40 feet of frontage, and another lot consisting of 64 square feet, having 60 feet of frontage. At that time, when that was issued, the Planning Board also issued a special permit pursuant to 6.7.2 for a driveway greater than 200 feet. Due to the modification of the driveway, the applicant is requesting a modification of the previously issued special permit to reflect the current conditions on the current plan. The previously approved driveway was 198 feet. The new proposed driveway is 258.8 feet. We appeared before the zoning board and obtained approval of a variance to reduce the current Lot 1 to under 20,000 square feet. We are no longer here requesting site plan approval. We don't need site plan approval. We do not have 4,000 square feet of impervious surface, so we do not need site plan approval. Per section 6.7.2, the planning board may grant a special permit, in this case, a modification of a previously approved special permit, if it determines that the driveway will provide safe and reasonable access for fire, police, and emergency. As you can see from the comments issued by the city departments on April 1st, the fire department had no comment. I will let Matt Hammer, who is with me tonight, step in and go over the plan that has been submitted. We, based on the plan, we have addressed all the comments that were issued by the city pertaining to this modification.
Good evening. My name is Matt Hammer with Lamplex Engineering at 10 George Street, Lowell, Mass. So I'm going to walk you through the modifications that have been proposed and since approved actually through the Zoning Board of Appeals more recently as last week, of which this was the prior lot line here. That was part of the original two-lot subdivision where the prior special permit was issued. And the new, oops, excuse me. Have to get the right plan. And this is the new lot here. During the Zoning Board of Appeals meeting, the original lot line was here, and part of the conditional approval was that they extend the lot line to be more squared up here to this lot line here. So this lot was approved at approximately 17,517 square feet as the condition of the Zoning Board of Appeals. This is the lot that's remaining. The driveway currently today terminates right here. If you go to the original approved plan, this was the driveway that was approved previously. So we're approximately right here with the current driveway that's there today. And the modification would be to continue that here, to have this area here, which would be providing access to the garage for the revised dwelling location. And if you can see here, this was the prior approved configuration, and now the house is further back in this location here in the extension of the driveway. All of this material here will be porous pavers, and this also has drainage associated with it, and this has also gone through with the stormwater team as well, with multiple meetings related to this driveway. And I can answer any questions from the board.
Anything further for the applicant?
I would just want to point out that the subdivision was previously approved by the previously approved special permit. And we, the applicant has acted in furtherance of that. So we're not here for subdivision, we're only here for a modification of the previously approved lot lines and the driveway.
So you're here for a special permit as well, right?
A modification of the previously approved special permit.
Right.
Yes.
But you still need the special permit under the fact that it is what, 20,000 square feet, right?
We received a special permit previously pursuant to 5.2.9.
Right.
And then we went into the ZBA and we modified the lot lines to reduce the square footage of Lot 1. So we're modifying the lot lines of, so it's a modification of what you previously approved.
But you'll still need the special permit by the planning board for the less than 20,000 square feet. Because that's given by the planning board, and variance from the ZBA does not give the special permit that's granted by the planning board, correct?
Well, we were already issued the special permit for that
Well,
previously.
what staff is telling us here is a special permit per section 5.29 to amend previous special permit to subdivide an existing lot with greater than 20,000 square feet and 40 foot of frontage. So you're asking for a special permit under that as well, correct?
I was under the assumption that it was a modification of the previously approved, but either way, if that's how you're reading it.
Well,
Because we're removing the lot lines.
I get that, but it says if you're anything under 20,000, you need a special permit by the planning board. Right, under 5.29, which is, I just want to make sure we know what we're voting on, because that's the comments we received from staff. Let's see, 5.29 frontage reduction for large lot SSF lots. Lots in existing of an effective date of this ordinance, SF zone, which contains a minimum of 20,000 square feet on a lot area, may be considered buildable with a minimum of 40 feet of frontage. Larger lots may be subdivided in such a manner as to leave each new buildable lot created with at least 20,000 square feet of lot area and 40 feet of frontage with a special permit granted by the planning board. So if they gave you a variance, that does not meet the criteria under 5.29, which is still the special permit by the planning board, correct?
Our discussion with the city was that that was previously obtained when the applicant came in.
That's not what staff is telling us. Staff is telling us, let's see.
It says special approval pursuant to
Special permit.
5.2 to amend
Okay,
a previously,
yeah, so if you're going to amend it, you still need to be approved
yes.
under the special permit.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, so you need the special permit as amended. Correct, okay. Just
Okay.
want to make sure we got what we're voting on, okay.
Okay.
So we needed the special permit to be amended.
Amended.
Because of the 20 and the 40.
Yes,
Gotcha,
sorry
okay.
for the
I just want to make sure,
confusion,
okay, thank you. All right. So, anything further from staff? No? Okay, at this point in time, I'll turn it over to the public. Anybody here this evening like to speak in favor of this project? In favor? In favor? In favor? Hearing none? Anybody like to speak in opposition? In opposition? In opposition? Hearing none, I'll turn it over to board members. Anybody have any questions?
Mr. Chairman, if I may, just to note as well as, in the prior plan was displayed here this evening, they did receive approval, and certainly they can build that second house back there, really just amending the plan. Actually, I like the idea of squaring off that first lot. And obviously, there's, I honestly think that the spirit of that original approval is still what's being presented here this evening. To the chairman's point, and that's what we want to clarify, there's going to be two approvals, the amended special permit under 5.29, and then the special permit for the driveway length of 6.72. So that's what we have before us this evening. So what I did, I did ask Francesca, and I am going to ask her for the record. I personally, in the world I come from, wasn't very satisfied with, and I'm understanding the process, but the number one criteria and the only criteria for the special permit under 6.72 is that this body determines that the,
Page 66.
this body determines that,
Yeah, 66.
Is adequate
yeah,
access.
that the planning board grants a special permit after determination that said driver will provide safe and reasonable access for fire, police, and emergency vehicles. And I understand in speaking with Francesca is that the city departments can go in basically to a portal and make their own comments, and the fire department's comments were spills over, no comments. I personally don't like that. So I'm just going to, for the record, Fran, if you could just explain DPD's, I want to say interpretation, but what's meant by that,
Sure.
that entry?
Sure. So each city department has access to a shared drive with these comment memos, and they are blank, they're left blank, and each department is tasked with going in and entering any comments that they have relative to each application. When you see no comment, that means that that department has written no comment. So in that case, in the case of the fire department, they have indicated that they don't have any comments, and we're interpreting that to mean that they don't have any concerns about the application. Not to be confused with no comments received, which means that we have not received any comments from that department. So it's just a word that distinguishes the two, but in one case, we are being told that there are no concern, that what we interpret to mean that they have no concerns, and the other that we did not receive any comments at all.
So I appreciate that, thank you, Fran, and I mean, I would certainly put still a condition that it has to be approved by the fire department. I personally don't like that response. Say what you mean and mean what you say. I mean, if they reviewed it and they had no issues with the proposal rather than no comments, I just think I would feel better. So understanding that they entered that, so I don't think there's going to be a problem, obviously, but I come from a world where you would phrase that a little clearer than no comment.
Like, no concerns would be,
Would clear it up. No concerns, right? No concerns. That's your comment. I looked at it, no concerns. So, and that is the criteria for 6.72. We don't know more than the police department or the fire department, I should say, as to whether it's safe access, and they have the equipment to address any concerns that they would have. So, given that interpretation, and I would still make it conditional upon their approval. Typically, we don't make it conditional if we haven't heard anything from them, but given what Francesca said, the understanding is they did view it, they commented, they had no comment. So, that was a long-winded explanation as to why I'm accepting that. On the special permit regarding, and it was determined, your initial application was for site plan review as well, but through the zoning board of appeals process, you've eliminated some of the impervious surface, so that addresses that as well. I guess my question would be then, from my perspective, given the comments relative to draining and the new plans that were submitted, I don't believe we had a final response on the drainage issue. So, and I know there was some correspondence late this afternoon. I think Dylan had sent the new plan and said any kind of update they would send to us, and I don't recall seeing anything, so.
so I'll go next. Following up on that,
You want to respond to that?
well, I'm going to address some of the same issues that Jerry just did, so you can hold off and answer them all at the same time if you don't mind. So, on the comments that we see April 1st, we got city engineer, stormwaters have expressed concerns about the proposed stormwater system, including possible system overflow onto an abutting property. The applicant should resolve these concerns with LRWW and engineering team. And then we went down, and the DPD project manager, they had concerns to manage the stormwater runoff. Then the engineering, the detention system overflow outlets, level spreaders are placed too close to the property lines. The placement will direct the system overflow directly onto the abutting property. Move the spreaders back onto the property. Design a different overflow system and enlarge the detention system. Provide a more comprehensive stormwater report. Show the drainage path on each of the landscape elements, including the gym, cabana, patios, walkways, and sports court. How will the stormwater be collected at each of these areas? That's from engineering. Stormwater, new properties still subject to stormwater permit. Would like to meet with the engineer to discuss drainage plans, concerns with proposed design. Wastewater, would like to meet with engineer to discuss drainage plans, concerns with proposed design. Those are all April 1. April 11 from Gordon Bergeron, Lowell Regional Wastewater Utility. I am not comfortable with the proposed design showing the pool house foundation drainage ending at the infiltration spreader located on the other side of the retaining wall, right of the boundary with the municipal parcel. I asked that he route this floor plan to the infiltration system located at the center of the lot. I also requested that the other level spreaders be moved further into the property line at the minimum of 10 to 15 feet. I'd like to see a full stormwater report if one has not been ready. That was 4/11. Yesterday, 4/23, from Gordon Bergeron, Lowell Regional Wastewater Utility. After we got a new set of plans yesterday, after taking a quick look at it, I have concerns with the proposed drainings. The proposed inverts, as shown, make flow through the system infeasible. So I'll let you answer that. So that was as of yesterday from Mr. Bergeron. So we had concerns from wastewater,
Yes.
engineering, and stormwater.
Yeah, so we had multiple comments. We've had 3 meetings with the stormwater team, and we've addressed those comments, and I'll walk through those. So there was an outlet here that was removed from the plan, so that's been taken care of. The drainage was routed over to this area here. We put in an infiltration trench to accommodate some drainage from the sports court, which was mentioned. We pulled the drainage here back from this lot line here. We've also made this porous pavement, and the comment related to the invert had to do with an invert in here from the roof drain going over to this infiltration system. So we made those changes.
So what was the concern for the invert? The numbers were wrong?
There was a typographical error on the invert elevation.
So what was the calculations, what were they saying?
The invert here, because we removed this outlet point here, we had to change these 3 inverts so all that water flowed to here, which is represented on this plan, which was submitted over to the stormwater team this morning, and copies were hand-delivered to the DPD department related to that change.
So they didn't have a chance to review them, so we don't know if they're satisfied with it.
Yeah, I can tell you that they would be satisfied, and you could condition that they still would need to approve it as part of the stormwater permit for this project in the end.
So were some of the inverts, like, saying like a water line, like 79 was going 84, so it was going uphill instead of downhill?
Originally, those inverts were going to a point here
Yep, but
with
they
the
were
original
going-
drainage.
Instead of the water going downhill, it was going uphill?
It was
When the
go-
invert's going from a
We
79?
raised those inverts, so that water will be
Wasn't one
going,
of them on the plan of 79 going to an 84?
that's correct.
So water usually doesn't go uphill.
No, I understand that, Mr.
Me
Lynn.
too.
Yes,
I understand part of that part of drainage.
yes.
Okay.
So I can assure you that those minor comments that were left over were addressed with this revised plan.
Okay, so is that plan, we haven't had to be, is that the same plan that they got yesterday?
They got that plan yesterday afternoon, and all those plans were hand-delivered to DPD's office today, and they also received an electronic copy of that plan.
So if we got this email from him yesterday, the 23rd, after getting the new plan,
No, we revised it again. So we've done 2 revisions last.
So you had a revision yesterday, so there's another one today?
There was a.
I know one was the lot lines that we saw.
Yes, there was a revision on,
One was the lot
20,
line.
what's that?
We had one in the lot line and then a
Yeah.
different one. We had 2 plans yesterday and today.
Correct.
Okay.
So this most recent plan that's been submitted to DPD and Gordon Bergeron reflects the adjustments of those inverts. And I actually spoke to Gordon on the phone that we were going to change those inverts, and he was going to be fine with that. I'm not saying that he's looked at the plan and gotten back to me, but we have a lot of dialogue with Gordon Bergeron on a daily basis, so I can assure you that.
Yeah, I'm just saying, this is the dialogue we received.
Yeah, no, I understand.
I mean,
Yes.
you know, when it comes to, you know,
Yep.
when he says you have concerns about drainage, that's a concern under special permit as well,
Yep.
you know, so that's what we're receiving from him, otherwise, okay. I have nothing further, I'll move along. Dan, any questions?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just briefly, through you to Attorney Flood? Attorney Flood, I don't know anything, I'm learning through this process. It seems to me that once you get the special permit for the 40 feet of frontage, why do you need to amend it?
Because we're making a change to the previously approved plan. So any change to that plan
Yep.
has to come in for a modification.
Okay.
So we're extending the driveway and
Yep.
removing the lot line.
Yep.
So the previously approved plan is, it doesn't look like what's going to be out there. So we have to come in now and say, we're modifying what the board previously gave us.
Okay,
Request the modification.
okay, all
We're
right,
not changing the frontage at all.
right. No, I
not
did.
changing.
Yeah, I did see that. And when I looked at this, I don't understand how the planning board can approve this if it's not 20,000 square feet. Do you know what I mean? Because of that section that's in here, that's 5 point whatever. Could you
I would-
explain that?
I would tend to agree with you because
Yeah.
my position would be really that the variance is what dictates the approval of the plan at this point because the lot line has been changed.
Right,
But we previously came in for a special permit
yeah,
pursuant to 5.2.9 for the large lots.
right.
So again, it's still a modification of what was previously approved, even though the variance, I do agree, dictates.
Yeah, okay. Two things, when I was looking through this, my notes indicate we need approval from wastewater, water, and we need something from the fire chief, is what I wrote. I hate it when I do this, I kind of agree with Jerry, every once in a while it happens, but I think we need approval from the fire chief, and I think if there's any sort of approval coming forth, I think it should be conditioned on that. That's it, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Ms. Walker, any questions or comments? No questions. Okay. Mr. Saar, any questions or comments? No? Okay. So we need a vote to amend the special permit as well as a special permit for the length of the driveway.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve the amendment to the special permit with the following conditions: that the applicant should record an easement granting future owners of the proposed Lot 1 access to the driveway and parking area and walkways accessing their property, which are located on proposed Lot 2. That it is subject to fire department approval, subject to approval from the engineering department and the city's stormwater management team, A lot of the other comments that were in here were addressed with the application, and it really is, at this point, those departments have to sign off one way or the other. If they don't sign off, they're going to have to comply. So it's at this point, I'm okay with that, because it's not moving forward without their sign-off. And then there was a landscaping plan submitted. I would just make it subject to final approval from DPD. I was satisfied with the plan I was looking at, but obviously, we didn't get an actual comment back on the landscaping plan, so I'd make it subject to final approval on the DPD on the landscaping plan.
Discussion, Jerry? Can we have approval by wastewater as well as stormwater?
That would be appropriate,
Because
absolutely.
both of them said they had concerns.
Correct, Mr. Chairman.
Concerns from stormwater, concerns from wastewater.
Correct, yes,
And I know they need the stormwater permit regardless, so they'll have to be up there anyway. If you don't get the permit, kapush.
correct. Yes, yep,
Okay.
absolutely.
Okay, so we have a motion on the floor with several conditions.
Second.
Motion second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye?
Aye.
Chair votes yes. Any opposition? Hearing none. That matter for the amended special permit is approved. So now we need a special permit vote for the length of the driveway.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion for approval of the special permit for the length of the driveway. We certainly can incorporate the conditions from the previous special permit amendment. However, specifically, that special permit is to determine, again, that the safe access, and that, again, would make that subject to final approval from the fire department. And just for clarification, you can't get an occupancy permit without them signing off on it anyways. But again, it should be part of this process and clearer communication to us, so. Thank you.
So are we going with all the conditions, Jerry, or just the fire department?
Sure, well, there's no harm in incorporating the conditions, but I really want to
Gotcha.
stress the main reason what that special
Yeah,
permit is for.
because under that section, it mentions the fire department, police department.
Correct, yeah.
Okay. Okay, so we have a motion on the floor by Mr. Bishop, basically with the same conditions as outlined, especially highlighting the fire department, which is spelled out in that section of the zoning code.
Seconded.
Motion made in second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye?
Aye.
Chair votes yes. Any opposition? Hearing none. That motion is approved, 5 in favor, none against. Good luck, wish you well.
Thank you.
Sure. We're going to take 5 minutes, for 1 second for staff. Take care, man. Have a good night.
Good night. Good night.
Do the tree. How's the price of the lumber?
It's going up. It's crazy.
Anyone delay renovating?
Not right now. Not right now. Right now I have.
Is it as bad as during COVID or no? Not yet.
They saying the 2x4s that's $4.89 right now. It's going to be $20. %50 of my work has no pay.
Moving along on the agenda, we have a public shade tree hearing. We have 42 Magnolia Street, 486 Andover Street, 14, 15, 21, and 54 Beresford Ave, 420 Barnum Ave, 51 Wedge Street, and 406 Parker Street. Anybody here for the shade tree hearings? Okay.
Hello.
Are you doing testimony on behalf of these tree hearings?
Yes, I'm part of the city engineering team.
Okay. So what we usually do, just to let you know, is we take one group at a time.
Okay.
So like we'll start off with Magnolia, then we'll go to Andover Street instead of this. You give us a presentation on all of them. So we'll take one, we'll vote on that one.
Okay.
Move to the next one, vote on that one.
Okay.
Okay, that way it's, you give us all of them, then we'd be jumping back and forth. We have a question on that one, question on that one, so we'll do them in order, okay? So what I'd like to do is, if we could start off, might as well start off as the way we read them out. I'll let you introduce yourself, and we'll start with the 42 Magnolia Street. So I'll let you introduce yourself and give us your little presentation on that. We'll give our feedback, and we'll vote, and we'll move on, okay?
Okay.
Thank you, sir. So if you'd introduce yourself, please.
Hello, everyone. My name is Moise Revel. I'm an engineer here at the city. Today, I hope to do my best in presenting those requests.
So let's do Magnolia Street, okay?
Yep.
Okay. So on Magnolia Street, it looks like you have, what, 3 trees. One's on the corner of Varnum Ave, which is a maple tree, 42-inch. It's on the corner of Varnum and Magnolia. That's figure 1 in our packet. Number 2 we have is a maple tree, approximately diameter 30-inch. On figure number 2 on the right, these two trees are side by side, as we can see. The third one is the maple tree located at 320 Varnum Ave. That's figure number 2, in front of a picket fence. The overgrown root systems lifting and damaging the existing asphalt roadway create a significant trip hazard and causes significant structural deficiencies to the pavement. The removal of these trees is necessary to prevent any additional damage to the roadway. And it, okay. Anything you want to say further on that, or basically what it says?
No.
Okay. Anybody here this evening want to speak in favor of the tree hearing for Magnolia Street? Anybody in favor? In favor? In favor? Hearing none. Any in opposition? In opposition? In opposition? Hearing none. So it looks like they're getting ready to do the work up there. I noticed it was all dirt and all the other hot top, all that was dug up.
Yes.
So I'll turn it over to board members. Any board members have any questions? And before we go further, tonight, since we don't have Caleb here, Giovanni, excuse me, will be voting as an alternate. Okay, so, any board members have any question on Magnolia Street? I'll start with you, Jerry, since it's in your backyard.
It's in my backyard. That one at the corner where Varnum is where I used to wait for the bus when I was junior high school. So, no, I don't have any question. I mean, they're large trees. Matter of fact, they pose a danger to some of the homes that are there as well. But I guess it's a question that's come up, and I'm going to beat Member Tanzar to the question. But is there any plan in place to replace those trees within that street or that neighborhood?
As of now, we don't have any plan on replacing those trees specifically, but the DPD has a tree program, where the resident, if they need to, they can request to replace those trees, but the only condition is they would have to place it on their property.
So there's really, at the moment, then there's no plan to replace these public trees? Okay. There is no intent for that, okay. Well,
Let me jump right to Dan.
it's going to really open that up. That's interesting. Okay, all right, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Let Dan take it from there.
Thanks. A pet peeve of mine, we dealt with this issue last June. Last June, they had a number of streets in Pawtucketville that they needed to take trees from, and they said, we're coming up with a plan. We're coming up with a plan. We'll get you a list. You know what we've got today? Bubkiss. Absolutely nothing. So I think we as stewards, we as the tree board, have a responsibility. And one of the things I read in the tree ordinance is that we as the tree board have the right to make rules and regulations that govern how trees are cut, pruned, whatever. One of those things should be requiring when you folks come before us, and you haven't been here before, so I apologize, I'm shooting the messenger. But before anybody comes here before this board, they should be coming in hand with a replanting plan. By law, by ordinance, you're required, because these trees are larger than 24 calipers, you're required to have 2 trees planted for each tree you're cutting down. It's not discretional. And we as a board shouldn't make it discretional. Just leave it up to somebody else's whim. These 4 trees that are being cut down, or you're asking that they be cut down, need to be replaced by 8 trees. And as far as I'm concerned, before I'll vote for anything like this, because I voted last year saying, oh, we're going to get a plan, we're going to get something, we're going to get a list. And I've been waiting almost a year for that, and I haven't seen it. So just to let you know, I will be requesting that this board going forward require, at the time of your request, that they have a replanting plan in place that we can actually check on to make sure it happens. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Ms. Walker, any questions or comments?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The tree on 42 Magnolia Street, it looks like it's on that person's property, and you mentioned that the reason that these trees needed to be taken down was because you needed to pave the road. I don't see how this impedes paving the road. I did see a dig safe flag next to the tree, so maybe it has something to do with gas lines, I don't know. And as far as the wires, yes, there are wires near the tree, but the tree is V-shaped and the wires go right through the V, so I'm not sure how the tree would impede those wires either.
I must say, each tree that we signal, there's definitely a good reason behind it. At this point, I'm unable to speak about this one specifically, but I know on Douglas Street, we have planned to add a few trees because in our current plan, we shrink a few of the roads there, and we'll have enough surface area to maybe address the issue you brought up, and we can plant a few trees on Douglas Road. But
Okay, and as I mentioned, it looks like the tree is on someone's property. Do you ask them if you can cut that tree, or do you just say, we need to take this tree down?
all the trees that we signal here, I can confirm that they're all on our property, not on anyone's property.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I'm following up on that. I mean, the tree, like you say, it's on the other side of the curbing. And also, I'm talking about the one now on 42 Magnolia. Looked like the homeowner put 2 small little trees in there because there was 2 little trees there, and they were supported by wires that hold them together. So I didn't know if, and those were side by side with the new tree. So they're growing 2 new ones in the same distance back from the road where this one is. At least that was my observation. Private trees, they look like. Yeah, so, what I mean. So I put down 2 small trees in front of the house, and then you see the big one that's, like I say, back off the curb. So, yeah. Okay, Giovanni, any questions on that? I mean, Jovison, I'm sorry.
No questions.
No, thank you, okay. So basically, like you say, we have the, so we have the Magnolia ones, I mean, street that had the 3, and then we had the 4th one on number 42 Magnolia Street. So we had 2 little packets on them with the different pictures, so. What's the request of the board on Magnolia Street / on a map?
Mr. Chairman, and I know, Member Tanza has read I'll confess, it's been a while since I read the tree ordinance, but the understanding is that they are bound based on the caliper of the trees to replace the trees with 2 trees. So, and to your point, it's been going on for quite some time. So, I would make the motion that we not approve this request until they submit as required by the ordinance, with a plan to replace trees. And it's actually 2 trees for every 1 that's being replaced based on the caliper of the size of the trees. So that would be my motion, Mr. Chairman.
I would second that, Mr. Chairman, and I would also suggest that after this vote, that this tree board, because that's our authority, is to promulgate a rule so it's clear. I mean, obviously, Mr. Lewis is the first time here. I think it would be helpful if we establish the rule that in order to come forward with a proposal to cut down trees, that they have to bring a replanting plan with them at the time. Not later, but with them. So, but to Jerry's motion, I would second it.
And Mr. Chairman, to Member Tanza's point, we did get clarification in the Mass statute that we are the authoritative board, although the local ordinance was written originally with the Conservation Commission. So at that point, if the hearings are going to come before here and we are the authority, I think we need to take ownership of it and enforce it as written and presented. So thank you.
Okay, so we have a motion on the floor by Mr. Bichette, second by Mr. Tenza to deny the motion. So I take it that would be on all 4 the ones that what we read out for Magnolia Street / Farnham Ave?
Correct.
Okay, that motion is denied, okay.
Well, I think we have to take a vote.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. So motion made and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right.
Chair votes yes. Any opposition? Hearing none. So that matter is denied. So before we go any further, can I ask, sir, we're going to go through the other list here. Do you have a replanting plan for the other matters that are before the board this evening?
On Douglas Road, as I stated earlier, we have, I believe, enough space to plant a few trees, but as of now, we don't have a determinate
Detailed plan, okay. So what I'm thinking, and let me think out loud for the board, is to maybe continue the rest of the tree hearings till they come back with a plan for where they will be replanting, instead of going through them one by one. And if we're going to go through them in another replanting, if we follow what the previous motion was, it could be a denial across the board. Mr. Tenza, I'll start with you.
Mr. Chairman, just quickly, I think we should, as a board, establish right now that in order for somebody, including the city, to come before the board to cut down public shade trees, that they need to bring a replanting plan. I'll make this as a motion. They need to bring a replanting plan with specific time, place, location, caliper, because the statute requires that. In the way of a motion.
Okay.
Yeah, I would second that, Mr. Chairman.
Motion made second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Chair votes yes. That motion is approved.
Mr. Chairman, can we just revisit, though, that
Sure.
initial vote? I just want to ask, and it's not going to make a difference, but on the Magnolia, if the others, then I take it the plan would be to come back with a planting plan on those other proposals. So would that be the same with Magnolia? If we were to,
Well, technically now, they'd have to come back for reconsideration since we've
Right.
already denied it, like
Right.
anything else.
Correct.
Unless the maker of the motion be willing to rescind the motion with the favorability of the person who seconded the motion to reconsider and continue this as well.
that's why I'm speaking now, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, no, I think that would be, the idea isn't to kill the project, but the idea is that there's got to be there's got to be follow through and following of the
I mean,
statute.
because on this one, you have a dirt road,
Yeah.
what's it, Wedge Street, that one's already been paved.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
they're moving very quickly on them.
Right.
And obviously, you don't want to hold them up, but you want to know they have to meet the criteria.
Right. So,
It's
Mr.
like, the people came before them, they had certain criteria we had to address.
So, Mr. Chairman, I would like to rescind that motion to deny, and with replacement motion to continue.
Okay, well, we'll take the first motion first, which
Yeah.
would be the motion to reconsider on Magnolia Street, which was made by Mr. Fischetta, denied because there was no plan in place for the replanting. It was seconded by Mr. Tenza. Mr.
And
Tenza, do you accept that second?
I will second
Okay,
that.
So, all board members who are in favor of the revision, say aye.
Aye?
Aye.
All right.
Chair votes yes. So the matter of Magnolia has been, the denial has been reconsidered, and at this point in time, I'll make a motion to continue all the tree hearings to a date certain, which is requested, to when they could come back for the date certain with a plan for when the new trees would be replanted.
In addition, they'll need to repost.
To what?
They'll probably need to repost, right?
Well, if we're
If we
continuing it,
continue, we
If
don't.
we're continuing, no?
No.
Okay.
It's like
All right.
when this clock rose before us last time, you made the motion to continue? Yeah, so, now, I don't want to put you in the spot, but you know how long it would take to come back to let us know where you may want to consider replanting these?
To be clear, so each tree we should replant 2?
Well, it depends on what size they are. The smaller ones, it's 1-to-1, the bigger ones, it's 2-to-1. Right, Dan?
Yes.
Yeah.
Anything over 24 calipers, and you guys have the information here, require two trees. If it's under 24 calibers, 24 caliper,
one-to-one.
it's only one for one.
So-
And I think most of them are two for one.
Yeah, most of them are pretty big size.
Most of them are good-sized trees, yeah.
So we meet every 2 weeks, or if you need a month. I know it's not going to be tough on you to make the decision. It's going to be, you have somebody else come in and tell us. So we could either put this over to,
Why don't we continue it for 1 month, and if you get it sooner, they can ask DPD if they can bring it back sooner, right?
Okay.
That sound fair?
anybody have any questions on that, or is someone else want to speak? Yeah. We'll take this gentleman first. Go ahead, sir. Just introduce yourself, please, for the record.
Sure. Hi, I'm Paul St. Cyr. I'm the DPW Commissioner and Tree Warden. I'm happy to go through the continuance process. I think we can provide that information at the next available meeting. I think some of that's in the background. I apologize in that Moist might not have had that information at hand, but we can certainly provide that. We understand what the regulation is, and we'd like to put them there. I'm happy to get that for you for the next available.
I mean, and I know by looking at the plan, sir, the ones that look like you're ready to really roll on is Wedge Street and Magnolia Street.
Correct.
So if you want to bring those back on a certain point in time and put the other ones off a little further, would we want to consider that?
No,
'Cause
whatever.
I know, I can see you guys are up there working, I mean, we don't want to stall progress.
Yeah.
So yeah, instead of putting them all over, we could divide them up, have you come back on a shorter date with Magnolia and Wedge, and then the end over in Beresford, put those over maybe a month out, put the other ones out a couple of weeks, whatever you want us to consider, we'll consider.
Certainly, and so some of what affects this obviously is the PROAG regulations that have come out recently, and so as far as ADA compliance and things like that, it causes an issue. It used to be 36 inches, so tree boxes within sidewalks doesn't work the same way. It's some of the reasons why we're looking at places where we'll do bump outs and things like that to be able to accommodate for some of those things, or we'd look to put them in an area that's as close as possible to the area where they're being removed. We also offer out to the residents who may choose, they probably envision that that's their tree in front of their house, and so we're certainly willing to provide something that they may plant on their own property.
Makes sense.
So would you have, how much time do you think you'd need? I mean, like I said, if you want to do the, like I say, wedge and magnolia, a quicker date, because those look like they're, or if you wanted to come back with all of them, whatever.
I feel confident that we could come back with all of them, with where those locations could be, and validate with residents as well.
So we're looking at either, maybe May 19th or June 2nd.
I would say May 19th, so we don't hold up the project if that's
Are we
possible.
okay, Fran, on that date? Do we have much on that day, or?
Pardon? Oh.
Okay, I'm checking with our staff to see if we're all set that day. That's kind of soon, what do you think?
Yeah, it's too soon,
Yeah.
because it's a Thursday meeting, so.
Yeah, okay, so, okay, I'll make a motion that we continue all the public shade tree hearings to May 19th, 25.
I second that.
Motion second?
Second.
Yes,
By actually, who's voting on that? Jovison, right?
All right.
You want to, he seconded it? All in favor?
Aye?
All right.
Any opposition? Hearing none, so the motion carries, 5 in favor, none against. Good luck, sir, wish you well.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm sorry, another gentleman want to speak? Let me hear from him as well. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the tree board. Stephen Conlon from 34 Barrasford Avenue, where a number of the trees are proposed to be removed. I appreciate the interest in maintaining the trees. Just a couple of things. We do have a tree ordinance, so I'm glad that some of you have actually read it and know that it exists. I just want to read the beginning of the tree ordinance, because when these trees were posted, it was for the integrity of the public sidewalks, which is a good thing. However, the tree ordinance reads right from the beginning, "It shall be the priority of the city to preserve and protect shade trees." The priority. There's no reference to sidewalks. I don't think sidewalks take preference to trees. So I think the burden of proof is on those who would remove the trees, and I don't see that coming in. I see them saying, well, the sidewalk's bad, so we have to take the tree out. I think the burden of proof is on those who wanted to have the trees removed. I haven't seen any evidence that these trees are unhealthy or pose a threat to public safety. If there's been an arborist who has certified that, then that's an important piece of information. If that's not available, then to just take these trees down, many of which are 100 to 150 years old, and have provided shade and all the benefits, that the reason the city of Lowell has a tree ordinance and the reason that it's a Tree City USA is because that priority is for the protection of trees. And there are ways to make things ADA compliant, although there's nothing referenced in the posting of the trees having to do with ADA compliance. It's just integrity of the sidewalks. That the burden, again, is on the proponents to make that work while protecting the trees. So I would just leave you with that, and I'll be happy to see you at the next hearing.
Thank you, Mr. Cohen. Nice to see you again. To let you know, Mr. Cohen used to work with Planning and Development. He was here when I first started. We'll go back a few years, right, Steve? Yes. So he used to sit and do the minutes and work the planning staff and give us recommendations. And so, no stranger to the process. Yes, it is. So thank you, Mr. Cohen. So all the matters will be continued to the May 19th date. Thank you very much. Okay. Let's see. Okay, here we go.
Thank you, Mr. St. Cyr.
He was, he lives on. They didn't know how to explain it. I know everything about it, what happened right now, but I don't want to get, because I stay out of it. This is a little, so. Some of the trees that's cutting off, it's like, it's a possibility of an accident. So. They had all the rights.
Moving along, we have a site plan and special permit for 23 West Fifth Street. The Lowell Planning Board will hold a public hearing to have all interested persons relative to an application by Louis Zapatier seeking to convert an existing 3-family structure into a 4-family structure at the above address. The property is located in a traditional neighborhood multifamily zoning district and requires site plan approval under section 11.4.2 and special permit approval under section 12.1C. So, are you Louis?
Yes, I am.
Okay. So all the board members went up to the site, and you have to post a sign outside for the public notice,
Okay, outside the
for
prop.
the hearing.
Okay.
So without that public notice sign, we can't properly go hold the hearing because it doesn't meet the notice requirement.
Okay.
Each one of us that went there, and each one of us texted staff saying, we saw the for sale sign, but we didn't see the notice sign. Like, on all those trees that were here, they all had signs on them. The people came, the first one on Clark Road, sign on the thing. It has to show basically your site plan on there, the date and time of the public hearing to satisfy the notice requirement.
Okay, just the site plan, just saying I'm converting from a 3 to a 4, because I'm,
You have to show the site, you have to create a site plan and put it on the plan so they can see it.
The
You
site-
just can't write the words on it. You have to show what the plan looks like.
yeah, I have the plan there, and also.
I mean, like, you showed this, that should be on there, and also on this plan here, just to let you know, you had the dimensional requirements that are on site. Whoever draw this up, they're supposed to put down what's required by the ordinance so we can see the differential. And also, on the site plan, it should also have parking. Okay, there's no parking here, so looking at this,
Okay,
because from four-family, you need 8 spots.
8 spots.
Yep, 2 per unit,
okay.
okay? Right.
Uh,
Yeah, and then, yeah.
That's what I was
So
applying
this is-
for, a
Yeah,
variance
this is
for.
like this plan here, I get that plan, but similar to this plan, should be on a big bulletin, posted on the thing, let all the neighbors see it, it require the notice requirement.
Mr. Chairman,
Sure, Mr.
who should he touch base with to make sure that he does it properly? I mean, like, this isn't something that we see.
Well, usually in any application that they bring in,
Yep.
they start with staff.
Okay, so he could contact the Division of Planning and Development?
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
because when they come in to submit it, whoever brings in a plan, they always start with staff, sit down, get their comments.
Okay.
And, you know, like that application checklist that we see
Yeah,
in our
yeah, yeah,
package.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Fran, what do we do? We post it, that we don't have a notice, right? We just can't continue it unless we have to put a new sign up.
Yeah, well,
I mean, usually once the sign's up, we can continue, but now it's never been posted. It doesn't meet the notice requirement.
so shouldn't we move to withdraw his application?
He could withdraw without prejudice and then come back in
Without prejudice, then he can come back in,
once he
when
posts
he-
it with the plan.
yeah.
that's also
Yeah.
possible. Yeah, we do send instructions to the applicants with a fillable PDF that they can use to fill in the information to,
So your
We
best bet would be
decide.
come back and speak with planning staff again,
yeah,
right, Fran?
so we can recirculate that.
Okay. Because,
But
yeah,
it sounds like he should withdraw and
okay.
renotice.
All right. So, I mean, we can't vote on tonight. I mean, the only thing we could do if the only thing we could vote for is denial because it doesn't meet the notice requirement. So instead of doing that, if you want to withdraw it and come back at a future date, you could meet with staff and they could post up for a future date, put the sign up, and then they meet the notice requirement.
On the 28th, there's another hearing on the 28th. Do I come for that as well, or is that different?
That's the
or-
ZBA.
That's the zoning board of appeals.
Okay.
And you're gonna need a sign for them too.
I'm gonna need the
It's
sign.
under the notice requirement, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
so if I put the sign up tomorrow, would that be sufficient to come back on?
It's a time, what's it, how many days ahead of time they need, Fran?
How many days, sorry?
For the notice be
Oh,
posted?
it needs to be up for 14 days prior to the hearing, so Friday does not give him enough time to meet the
No,
statutory
Fred, no,
requirement.
Nope.
Yeah.
That won't meet it either, so you won't meet the notice requirements for the zoning board of appeals as well. Has to be up prior, that she said, like, prior. So I'd suggest, if you want to withdraw it, that means we don't act on it. You can sit with planning staff, and you can let the zoning board ahead of time, let them know you're gonna withdraw it because you didn't have the proper notice, and then they have to set up for a future date.
For how many days it needs to be up?
14,
14?
yeah, so you need to sign up 14 days ahead of time. The tree ones, I think, is only a week, but,
So if I put it up tomorrow, it needs to be up there 14 days, and then I can come back.
yeah, you gotta speak with staff first to try to get on the agenda with
For the
us
next
and
hearing.
zoning board again in the future. and they'll let you know what dates are available for to get on the agendas, once the sign is up.
Okay, once I come
I
back.
mean, it has to be pretty visible, like I say, and that's why usually the dimensional chart, you have there what's there, but usually, most of the people would put over, this is what the city requires, and this is what I have. So you can look at it and say, okay, parking, you have 4, you need 8. Side yard, you have 19.7, what's required? It's usually, might be 25, minimum of 10, that should all be on the plan as well as the rear lot yard, yeah. So, yeah, whatever you're gonna put up, I'd suggest speak with staff, and before you move forward, pick another date, and then put the notice up.
The other,
And then when you put the notice, when you give them the new submittal, take a picture of the notice that's on the property. So then when we get our packet, we know the notice is up, because we go out and look anyway, so.
Okay, so
Right.
I should put that site plan up with the wording that I sent out to the mail, certified mail? Is that fine?
You're gonna have to put, once you speak with them, you're gonna have to put the date and time of the notice.
Of the
And
notice.
so you have to speak with staff, because you have to put the planning board date and the zoning board of appeal date.
Okay.
Put them both on the
The
same
new,
thing.
the new dates, yes.
So once you speak with them, you have to get those dates, so you just can't put up tomorrow until you find out what time the notice is. Go ahead,
Mr.
Fred.
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah, I'm sorry.
just briefly, one of the things he should also do is check with staff regarding the plans, the site plans. There were a number of things that they found to be deficient. As you, just what you were indicating is the tip of the iceberg. They had said that there are numerous things that they would require in a revised site plan. So one of the things you want to do is talk to Division of Planning and Development about what their comments were, okay?
Yeah, because once you get their comments, then you know how to, if you're gonna speak with your engineer to revise the plan. So,
One thing, if I may, Mr. Chairman, just so that the board is aware, if he does withdraw without prejudice, he would need to rerun the legal ad as well, which is a somewhat significant expense. It's usually around $700. And he would also need to notice the abutters.
Yep.
So,
yeah, you have to send out notice to all the people who live next to
Yeah.
you, yep.
so,
Okay, yeah, so you gotta start with staff again.
Yeah.
Start from the beginning and go forward.
yeah, he would have to pay for that. Right.
Okay,
Starting from scratch.
yep, so,
So the money that I paid already, what
Yeah.
does that happen?
yeah, because they're incomplete.
Okay, so but what does that happen? 'Cause I think I paid about 1,800 or more.
Yeah, yeah. Because you didn't meet, I know you spoke to the staff in the past, I don't know what they told you, or whether you followed through with what they asked you to do, so. I know some staff is, because when I get these comments, I ask staff, and they said, yeah, we've been telling them what to do, but some things he did and some things he didn't, so. It pays attention to, because if not, we're gonna vote on it, and most likely won't be favorable. I mean, if they show us that you're not meeting certain regulations under the zoning code, like, for example, you need 8 spots and you have 4, so that's an uphill battle. We just denied one right around the corner on West 6th Street within 2 months for the same thing. Remember that side street right by the park, went down West 6th? You took a right, the little park was there with the garden, and it was directly across the street? Yeah. So,
Well, that's why I was applying for a variance, right? Because I don't have enough parking
yeah,
spaces.
I mean, you gotta meet what, the zoning code requests. I mean, they come in, and you don't have the right criteria, then it's an uphill battle, so I suggest you to speak with staff before you come back, and they'll tell you what you need, and you can either take their advice or not, and then we'll vote on it when it comes forward. Okay?
Chairman, is he going on record to indicate that he's withdrawing his petition?
If I'll let you ask him that, and if he says so,
Yeah.
you go from there.
We need you either to go on record that you're looking to withdraw your petition without prejudice, which means you get to come back, or we need to vote on it as is. And it's defective right now, so we're trying to give you a shot, is what I'm saying. But we need to hear that from you, not us.
That I want to withdraw from the
petition,
petition.
without prejudice,
Without
which means...
prejudice.
So without
you come
prejudice
back.
means you have right to bring it back.
Yeah.
If you say with prejudice, then it's wait a 2-year period.
Okay.
So that's
So I
why
want to withdraw without prejudice.
Okay. The request is made, do we have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I would make a motion to allow the applicant to withdraw without prejudice his petition.
Okay. Motion's made, and do we have a second? We have Mr. Saab voting on this one?
I make a second motion.
Okay, so motion made and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right.
Chair votes yes. All right, so be in touch with staff, and they'll tell you what you have to do. All right, good night, thank you. So the motion's allowed to withdraw without prejudice.
You're here tomorrow, friends? They could, okay, no, okay. Thank you.
Feel bad.
Speaking of Draft Day, have you seen that movie yet?
Oh, great movie. I would go home right now to see that.
Okay, moving along on the agenda. Proposed zoning amendment, floodplain overlay district. In accordance with Mass General Laws, Chapter 48, Section 5, the Lowell Planning Board will hold a public hearing to hear all interested persons relative to the ordinance to amend the Code of Ordinance, City of Lowell, Massachusetts, with respect to Chapter 290, therefore entitled the Lowell Zoning Code, by amending Article 9, Overlay District, specifically Section 91, entitled Floodplain Overlay District. And we don't have Caleb this evening, so we have Jobison will be voting as an alternate. And so I take it this is going to be a presentation from staff.
I do not have a presentation.
We saw the comments, and we,
Yes.
yeah, and we saw the highlights.
So essentially what this is,
Try to stay informed with the state regs.
yes.
So people get flood insurance.
Exactly. That is really what it is. FEMA comes out with new flood maps periodically. The state reaches out and says, hey, you need to update your floodplain ordinance locally that references these new maps to ensure that residents in your city can continue to get flood insurance. And we really do keep it high level. We're not floodplain managers here or experts by any means, but we did work very closely with the state's floodplain management team, and the bylaw that you have in front of you is essentially the model bylaw, and they've reviewed it, I think, 3 or 4 times, and it's spick and span exactly what it needs to be to ensure that Lowell residents can continue to get flood insurance, which is the really key thing. So we would appreciate a favorable recommendation so that we can send this back to the council, get it approved, and let the state know that we are all good to go.
Jeremy, can I start with you? I know you're involved in this in Pawtuckaville.
Yeah, well,
You have been in the past quite a bit when we dealt with the flood.
I have, and also in my day job, we deal with flood insurance all the time, properties that are in floodplains, and you can't close a loan to a federally insured lending institution without having flood insurance if you're in a flood zone, so it's plain and simple. And obviously, I was one of the co-chairs of the flood committee when we had all of the flooding back in 2006, and I was actually the treasurer of the Salvation Army at the time. That was the conduit in which we funded all of the relief, so that was quite an effort. So, but to see the devastation that can cause in a community, and we have the Merrimack River and all the outlets, obviously it's very important to be in compliant. I would hate to see, through more of a administrative issue here where we would not be in compliant and jeopardize the ability for the residents to have proper flood insurance. So I read through it. I'm assuming this was boilerplate language as required by the state. So I have no concern with what's here and understand how important, as everybody else, I think that was in the city and has experienced that. So thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, I'm in favor of it as well. Mr. Tenza?
Do you need to open it up,
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
please?
Anybody here this evening like to speak in favor of the zoning ordinance as amended? In favor? In favor? In favor? Hearing none? Anybody here like to speak in opposition of the proposed zoning ordinance for the floodplain? In opposition? In opposition? In opposition? Hearing none? As indicated, Mr. Bichette gave us a little background on the matter. I'm in favor of the ordinance. I'll turn it over to Mr. Tenza.
I'm good.
Okay. Ms. Walker? Good? Okay. Jobison? You good? Okay. So, Jerry, I'll let you make the motion.
Make a motion to approve the amended floodplain overlay district.
I'll second the motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right.
Any opposition? Hearing none. The motion is allowed. 5 in favor, none against. Now, we have any further comments? Only comment I'll have, I know you all saw that Fran sent us a notice yesterday that we have a dedication, a bridge dedication from Mr. Bob Malovich. So Bob sat here on the planning board with us for a few years. He passed away, like almost 3 years this August. Yeah, I think Danny might have filled his seat. So for anybody, Bob was the head of planning and development years ago, so he spent a lot of years here. He was in charge of that back into the 80s and the 90s. I remember Bob when I first started on the planning board, so he was very big with the walkways, and I know he was very friendly with Steve Stoll with the historic board, and so they have a bridge dedication, which is going to be at 50 East Merrimack Street, right here in the Lowell Auditorium, and it's on a Monday night at 4 o'clock prior to our planning board meeting. So if anybody's interested in attending, I want to thank Fred for sending that out. We miss Bob. Bob was it was nice to have somebody with a planner on the board. We have Caleb now, who's a planner on the board, but it was nice to get a different hindsight, and he could remember a lot of things. He told us history about the VFW being built, and how it was supposed to be 4 lanes at one time, and then it was 2, and all that thing. And then a lot of times he'd bring up something, where the heck was that? Oh, it was over there way back then. So it was nice to see somebody who's a planner who gave us insight on things that happened years ago, and the reason why they happened, and the thoughts behind it when he was working here in the city for planning and development. Okay. So anybody else have any updates?
Mr. Chair, I just
Yes.
had a few quick updates. We had a historic board meeting a week from this past Monday, and 2 historic permits were permitted. One for 246.2 Market Street, which is mill building, and they expect to have 27 market rate apartments built there, so that will probably come before us. And then 278 Central Street, which most people know as JJ's Pub.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to knock down the existing addition and rebuild that, and still have rooms available for rent. And then Doors Open Lowell, which is, it offers an insider's look into many of Lowell's magnificent historic buildings, will take place on May 11th. And for more information, you can visit the Historic Board website.
Okay. Thank you very much. Any other board members have any further follow-up? If not, we can entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Okay. I don't know if we have a second.
Second.
I second that. There you go, second. All right.
Motion made and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. Good night, and thank you, everyone. Have a good night. Yeah, I wasn't even,
I should have opposed the motion.
yeah. I was looking through the dial, and I saw that draft day thing come up. I didn't know anything about it, so I started watching it. What a good movie. And my wife, who's not into sports,